So working into the back loops only, making sure we get the back loop and not everything else, working 4 single crochets across. So you want to repeat that method all the way across the row. So I'm up 2, and you should be 2 when you get to the end. You'll have those 4 single crochets left, and that's what we need. Because we started with 4 single crochets here with our colours showing, we need to end with our 4 single crochets with our colours showing. So working into the back loops only, 4 single crochets, there we go, across there. Remember, now we need to finish off and cut our yarn. Remember to have it the same length as our fringe, pulling up the loop, pulling tight there so it's secure. Can you see it's starting to take effect now? So our next row is another cream row. So we're going to repeat what we did from now on. So the next row is our cream row here that we single crocheted all the way across. Remember the very first row we did after our chain. So getting your main colour and attaching it to the very first stitch into the back loop. Apart from those double crochets where we go into our front loop, every other time we work into our back loops. Remember, when you attach your yarn, to have it the same length as your fringe. Join it with a slip stitch, pulling the tail down so that it's secure. Chaining 1 counts as our first double crochet, first single crochet, sorry. So working into the back loops only, single crochet all the way across till the end. Now working into our last stitch, remember in the back loop, working excuse me, our single crochet, cutting off our tail, remembering the same length as the fringe that we want it to be, pulling it up so it's nice and tight. The next row, do you remember what it is? The next row is our colour row. So grabbing another colour, all the same colour, completely up to you, of course, it's your project. Got a lovely maroon colour here. Once you join it into the back loop, our first stitch, but you already know that, didn't you? Remembering to leave our tail, of course, the same length as our fringe, but you knew that too, didn't you? So chaining 1 just to secure it, pulling down on the tail to make sure it's attached. Chaining 1 counts as our first stitch. Now working across in the back loops only, single crochet across until we get to the other side. Now you should be able to see a pattern forming in our rows. It's a row of cream, or your main colour of course, single crochet in your main colour all the way across, working in the back loops only. Row 2 is single crochet across in a colour, working in the back loops only. And row 3 is your funny double crochet row, working in your main colour. So that was one row of main colour, single crochet, one row of your contrast colour, single crochet all the way across, and then the third row is your funny double crochet row. So this whole pattern is made up of 3 rows, obviously not including the chain at the beginning. You could, if you like, if you're a bit more advanced, when you do your row of your main colour in single crochet, which is the cream one here, it's our first row, and there it is again. You could do a couple more rows of that if you like, so break up the distance between the colours. Completely up to you, but then if you aren't advanced enough, don't confuse yourself. Everybody started somewhere as a beginner, and we all had those moments where we didn't know what to do and had to ask someone or hop on YouTube and try and search for the answer. So working into our last stitch through our back loop, cutting off our yarn to create our fringe. Remember, same length, but you'll get used to that as you go along. So we have our second colour row of trebles.